Hi everyone, welcome to Me and Me on the Road. This is Minnie and I'm Christy, and we're super glad that you're here joining us for tonight's live stream. So this morning I had no idea what I was going to talk about tonight. Around lunchtime, I started thinking about the fact that I might share an update about South Australia. So I was in Tasmania for about 11 months, and we've been back in South Australia now for almost a month. And the adjustment has been harder than I expected it to be. Um, we're starting to get into a routine now, but we found it quite challenging. I know I found it quite challenging to start with. While I was in Tasmania, I was looking for work, but I couldn't pick anything up over there. So I started applying for fully remote jobs on Seek and also for some jobs on the mainland once I got here. I applied for a job down at Victor Harbour through Hayes Recruitment. Whilst I was in Tasmania, I did the interviews with Hayes and went through the whole process, but then the organisation pulled out. So I had to trust that things would work out, which has been my mantra all along. Trust, as long as I'm taking some steps towards things, I tend to trust things will work out. So I was sitting outside one day in the sunshine in my chair, and my phone rang, and it was Hayes unexpectedly, and they had a job for me in the Murraylands, 2 days a week, 9 to 5, casual admin job, and immediate start. So they put me forward, and a couple of days later, I started. And it was quite an adjustment because I haven't been in an office for a couple of years now. When I was working full time, it was fully remote from my house and then from my caravan. But some things that I've loved about working back in the office is wearing some makeup, dressing up, doing my hair, having a shower, which is something I don't always do because I don't have a lot of water. Um, whilst I'm working in the office, I've been doing things that the full-time staff can't do, so filing and updating letters for them. And it's things that free my mind to just wander. And what I've found interesting is that whilst I've been there, business ideas have popped in, things that I can do to take new steps towards moving my businesses forward. So, for example, I reached out to a photography friend this week and went down and caught up with her for a coffee and a bite to eat and asked her some how she runs her photography business, how she sells photos, and I got some really great tips that I can use in my own photography business. And that's just popped into my head whilst I was working 9 to 5. The other thing that I've found quite interesting since being back in the office is how my perspective has changed. So, being back in South Australia, I find that I've got a very different perspective on life now. Um, I know we've all got stories like these, but when I was working in the office a few years ago, a co-worker got diagnosed with bowel cancer. And from diagnosis to when she passed away, it was only 12 months. And that was quite a shock to me. And that's something that was a trigger for me to change my life, because she passed away and life went on, and the project that she was working on got scrapped. So it's a story that I think about quite often when I'm living my own life and making decisions and choices. I say that because I don't think, if I've got a choice, I'd prefer not to go back to 9 to 5 full time. I really want to work on building my photography business and my IT business, and a couple of days in the office a week works well. The other thing was, this is really random thoughts tonight. I'm single and I don't have any children, and I know a lot of us are searching for meaning and purpose in life. And when I started traveling, that gave me a little bit of meaning and purpose, but I still wanted something else. And I found that working towards starting my own photography business and the IT has started giving me some meaning into my life. And even though and even starting this YouTube channel, and even though it's all super challenging to the point that I sometimes have crippling self doubt, I've had some amazing support from people here on Facebook, out in the real world, as we call it, which keeps me taking steps towards all of that, which has been absolutely amazing. Um, the other thing I find is I share all this with you today, and my thoughts and feelings about life changes from day to day, week to week, month to month, year to year. So you could ask me next week what my thoughts are, and they'll be completely different. Um, like I said, completely random. Something else I've noticed is whilst I was in Tasmania, it was really cold winter, one of their coldest winters, and as a lot of you know, I didn't have a heater in the caravan, and I had ice in the caravan. And at the time, I didn't realize how much it had affected me until I've come back to South Australia where it's warmer, since I've had a diesel heater installed, and I'm finding that my energy is starting to lift, my mood's starting to lift, I'm starting to feel much more energetic, and also being spring in the air, that helps everybody, I reckon. Um, so that's just completely random. One other random thing is since having the expense tracker, so I track all my expenses, as a lot of people know. And I also have been fortunate to travel with a decent wage, and I also have been traveling with a just living on small savings. And it's been interesting to compare the difference between both of those. Um, so for me, obviously, whilst I was earning a decent wage, you've got money to spend, but at the same time, I was working full time and didn't have a lot of spare time. And then whilst I was living on my savings, I haven't been working as much, and it's been wonderful to have time. That things like health, massage, chiro, dental, all sorts of things have made it harder whilst living on my savings. So for me, it's working out a healthy balance between both. Um, and then just the last thing I wanted to mention was whilst I've been back in South Australia, I had a look at campgrounds and caravan parks, and I compared the cost between both. So for an unpowered site in a caravan park, you're starting at about $33, whereas in a showground, it's about $10 a night. And um, the difference is if I stay in a showground, it's $70 a week, and if I stay in a caravan park, it's about a minimum of $210 a week. And if you compare that to how long I have to work, so if I stay in a showground, I only have to work a couple of hours to pay for that. And if I stay in a caravan park, I have to work about a day to pay for that. So I find that quite fascinating. The so I've chosen to stay in showgrounds, and there's a 7 day limit. So I go between two showgrounds, and they're happy for me to do that. So I stay in one for 7 days, then I have to move. Um, so we'll see how long that I do that for. But I just thought I'd share that with you as well. Um, I think that was all for tonight. I know it's completely random. Did anyone have any questions about being back in South Australia, and any thoughts on that? Hey, Susan. And also, I just wanted to say, how cute's Minnie sleeping next to me here? I couldn't ask for a better companion, a travel companion. She is just fantastic. No worries. Since there's no questions, I will see you next week. So next week I am about to upload. I've decided that I'll share about my experiences with renting out my house to travel. Um, it's something that's talked about quite a lot, and so I thought I'd share what my experience has been like. I shall see you next week. Thank you.